Back again. Thank you for tuning in to Workshop for the Soul. This today has been a difficult day for me. I hope it's been a better one for you. I mean, it's all about waiting on your change. And a lot of us don't want to go through the change to wait on the change. But let's go to Job chapter 14, verse 14. It says, if a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Wait till your change comes. I mean, at a point, you have to understand your blessing is in the process of the change. And your process is exactly that. It's your process. Your change process don't belong to anybody else but you. So you have to wait till your change comes. Flesh don't like being in a situation where it's uncomfortable. A lot of us have built our own selves out of situations just to repeat them again. I mean, you have to go through the process of graduating high school. You have to go through the process of graduating to get your GED. You have to go through the process of graduating college. And there was a change that happened in between that process. And all that change was needed in order for you to get your reward at the end. Well, your test and your circumstance, considering your test, ain't no different. There's a process that you got to go through. And if you hate the process, do you love your change? If you hate the process, you have to begin to ask God to teach you how to enjoy the process and show him and ask him to show you what the fruit of the process is in the process. So then you can have a greater appreciation for your test because you know it's going to bring about a better change for you. The whole job is to make you fit for heaven. Let's go to Psalms chapter 15. And let's go down to verse 4. Psalms chapter 15. And let's go to 4. In whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoreth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. Swear to your own hurt in the middle of your own process. And to truly swear to your own hurt is to submit and obey. It truly is. You changing the course says to God, you keep the change. I got my own money. Or let me drive, Lord. I know a shortcut. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where you are willing to change your process, which is only letting God know, your way isn't what's best for me. I got my own money. You keep the change. What does that say? And you know what? God is patient enough and kind enough also often use this expression that you saying you taking the wheel. Well, okay. I haven't met an expressway yet without a guardrail. Unless you're on like one of them country back roads. But if you are in a change and you decide to take the wheel yourself and modify your test to make it lighter on you, not only are you not crying out, you have taken on that responsibility yourself. I told you, there's no sense in you flying in the storm when God designed you to fly above it. But you're saying to God, I got it. I'm going to take the wheel myself. And guess what? God is good enough and he's kind enough and he's merciful enough to let you take the wheel and let you scrape up the guardrail. He'll let you ride on the guardrail till your side door panel on fire. Until you say, here you go. Now it's back on the altar. But if you take it back off the altar, you saying, I know the shortcut. Let's not be shortcutters in salvation, especially when it comes to our individual change. Because it's part of a bigger process. And Job said, I'm going to wait till my change come. Well, you got to have the hope that your change is coming in the first place. It's another process. But at the same token, we all must be aware of these things. But you're no more aware than you are patient. Because if you don't have the patience to therefore run your own particular race, I ain't talking about nobody else's race but yours. If you don't have the patience to run your own race, then you don't have the patience to wait for your change to come. Sometimes the test gets so hot, I understand. I'm going through something always. You going through something always. There may be a season where you're not going through something, but if your work life straight, then your home life ain't straight. If your home life straight, then your work life ain't straight. If this ain't happening, then that's happening. That stuff happens whether you in sin or in salvation. But each route has a change. Each route has a specific change, and you're responsible for your own change. If we go to Malachi, we're going to look at chapter 3. And we definitely want to go down to verse 6. I believe that is. All right. Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. And we want to get a very, very good understanding on what the constants with God is. And Malachi is a great example of what constant, because there are so many variables in life. There are so many variables in life. And within all of these variables, I mean, it makes it really, really hard to say, okay, I know this and I know that and I know the third. We know nothing of ourselves. I mean, and at the same token, we want to be able to allow God to move on our behalf. And sometimes it's really hard. I give you an example. God telling you that you need to see this thing through because you remember what happened the last time. Okay? You remembered what happened the last time and you didn't see the last one through. Well, now what? Are you going to remove yourself? Are you going to take a shortcut? Because some of these tests repeat themselves. And if we find ourselves taking shortcuts, then we're going to end up cutting our blessing in half. Or God allow you to go through it just to go through it again. But you don't want to cut your blessing in half because you went through half your test. Because another test is coming right around the corner. Malachi 3:6 says, "For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed." God said he don't change you. You're the only variable. The world does what it does, but you're the only variable. There is one constant in sales. And you can always count on everybody being dumb about the particular product you sell. You're not dumb because you sell it. So you're extremely aware about it. It says, but now with the internet and reviews and consumers are more educated on the products they want to buy. So what happens when a salesperson tell you, look, I know what the reviews say, but I know what the returns are on that thing, and that's definitely not a good product. And I know it's on every commercial because they pumping it to you. I get that, but that's not what you want to buy. And you say to yourself, I've been saving up for this thing. I know everything about it. Who does this guy think he is? And you say, well, you only work here making $12 an hour. What do you really know? That's God's relationship with us. I mean, you gotta remember, he said, for I am the Lord, I change not. You the one want to buy something. You the one need to change. He doesn't have to change. The only true constant in this world is God and his word. So why would you settle for a variable? And the variable is you taking yourself and creating change for yourself without seeking God on it. And removing yourself from situations that you have no business removing yourself from, because it's to make you stronger for something later down the road. Something that you can't see. You can't see that God has put a lot of different people through this and they've had to return back to the situation, just as the salesman tells you, hey, don't go down that road. Don't buy this object. I'm not even on commission. I just really want you to know I've seen people return this item, We know how the Black Friday items go. Well, you took the shortcut, and if you got a good one, great. But 9 times out of 10, You didn't get a good one, and you're going to end up returning it. What does he tell you? He told you already. Now, I've seen people go down that road and return this item. You really don't want to spend your money on this. Get something. I'm not going to tell you what to get, but that's definitely not what you want to buy. God does that to us all the time. And we say, you know what? Nah, I can't wait. I can't wait on, I want to buy a 65 inch 3D. I can't wait on that one. I need this 55 inch for $400 something. Cause it's on sale right now. Where you going to get a 55 inch for $400? Well, that's exactly what you're doing. You are shortcutting the quality of your entertainment based on reviews of it last year, but he already seen people buying it and it's been bought back. It's already been bought. They just dropped the price of it. Why? Because of so many returns. And people put out great reviews about stuff. Why? Because you can pay for reviews. If you're a big enough company, you can pay for people to write your own review. It's for the consumer to look up and falsely lead them. So what are you talking to about somebody else about your test, and they tell you another way that they had that test and the way they went out about it to change the outcome of how I've been down that road before, blah 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 blah. And you make sure when you get there, you want to change point A to point B, because if you jump straight to C, or if you want to jump straight to D, you don't even want to go to C, because that's a bad spot. I'm trying to tell you, I've been there before. I'm telling you something I know. Well, they're telling you something they know because it was part of their process. How do you know it's God's process for you? Yes, it may have been a shortcut for them and it made their situation easier. Who says you should look at their review and buy it? God is the only true constant and he doesn't change. He says, I change not. With that thought, let's go to 2 Corinthians, last thought, chapter 3, verse 18. And it says, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, that's 2 Corinthians 3:18. That was too well. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, but we all with open face behold as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. And my thought is, wait on your change to come, because he's trying to make you look like him. And if you skip a step, half of your face might not be what it needs to look like. Follow his process for your change. Want to make God laugh? Just tell him your plans. That's the easiest thing to do. You want to make God just bust up at you? Tell him what you plan to do for you, and call yourself being a follower of Christ. Wait on your own change.